The difference between recombinant and adjuvant is your solar plexus. I don't know, I just made that up, but I know in anatomy it starts entailing into like you can't check with anyone if anything is actually real or not. This was it's like I'm not a health ranger, but like it's definitely not natural, and so I would crumple it up and dispose of it, but I'd rather run away. So but what that does mean is that since the devil isn't like even gone forever, that his demons can still go on the earth, and if you don't know why they couldn't come back until it's that bad. The white hole into like this alien avatar, outer space like thing. There's at least one scene in that whole movie that could be real from a distance. So with the sword has the other image was hidden behind her. And we don't know who she is, but she's still probably alive. Just have to figure the dynamics of the interest. If the app is just really bad because the internet connection, it might not have to be with the GPS, and that can make like actually a world of absolute non-inclusive of your ability to try, because you can click start and go and type it in and do all these things than checking it when it's just a bad internet, on top of you have to just delete it and then go back and then open it up with some good internet and then it'll work. Besides the GPS, that's the other standpoint that could be problematic, which is just like speed and then location, which is like time dilation is location versus the speed. On an app, it can be the internet or the GPS not connected. And how those are like presented can be a lot different or a lot similar, easy or harder. But back to the app that shows you a location, if it doesn't have a GPS system that is actually working, then it's just non-inclusive. It's just like a body without a soul. Or brain. And some people think that there's like brains that are better than others, and that might be true, but it's just down to the point where how many points are you good at, and no one should be able to judge except for God. But when it comes down to injury, that's when legality comes into purpose, because you can hurt yourself, but then you can do it mentally or physically. And this is what bad things take up upon as appraisal of approval from their master, which is something that has them hostage, and this is just like in a higher sense of state, kind of like the land, but that's why the land can be cursed, right? The land is like, I think it could be real, not more real than you and me, but there definitely is like the world, and that is definitely a thing. And if the land gets mad, it's kind of like, how's it thinking of you? The pathogens and everything, you're eating it, and so like it's going through and circulating through all the glands and pulses correctly, probably with speed and location. And so these measurements are depicted if it was used with the cupula, the sugar or iron chimney, and then it handles you versus you handling it. And how many things are real? Like flamingos and pelicans, they must know they're goofy, and that's when they're sticking next to each other. They know that their friend is also goofy and liable to open attacks. Because when a pelican isn't looking over its shoulder, it has a giant neck, so its area of a blind spot is actually really
in 300
big.
feet, turn
So
left onto North Wauwatosa Avenue.
it's already on thin
Turn
ice.
left onto North Wauwatosa Avenue.
And with the solar plexus, it's kind of like the gland system. No one knows that you have all these glands and how they're really related to like pulses, how like we all have like 4 different pulses, your heart, your 2 wrists, and your 2 things on either side of your neck. And then so your glands are like that, except there are more of them, and they do like intricate work, probably with pathogens and detoxifying. I know your liver is
In
like a
400
giant
feet,
gland.
turn left
It
onto North
detoxifies.
Wauwatosa Avenue.
But if all of these were working together, then you could be able to be a connoisseur and actually feel the difference and see better results.
You're back
and
online.
things that can be better handled from when they're getting made first inside of a sugar house from a cupola, if it's being steamed up properly, versus the iron chimney. And when you have a vernacular and a nomenclature, you can actually twist it, and that's what legalities do. So pathogens, they're byproducts, but you can have them directly if you have your P's and Q's together, so you can dot all the T's and cross all the I's. So a pathogen is a byproduct. If you can have a direct pathogen, it's an innuendo that's complete. So when you're talking about postmodern, the thing I was just reconciling with is timeless. So it has a cease of existence only through non-clarity. Super dangerous when things are going wrong and disappearing and you don't know why. In the worst case scenario, it's going to occur if it persists to have one person have an unlikely outcome. That's how reality works. You can impede the flow of traffic and just go with things normally how they are, even though they're different. Or you can have something within reason seem totally obscure, for the first thing being it has to persist, the most unlikely outcome for something that is so extreme that it just is going to continue until it finds an outlet. And so when electronic equipment starts scrambling, the connection to the internet is one thing, and the connection to electric battery, how it's being turned on, is its other thing. You can impede the flow of traffic by not doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing, the speed limit. But if you're going against the speed limit to not impede the flow of traffic, that is a speed that is just relevant to everyone else. So the speed isn't even in promiscularity, hashtag promiscularity. And then time dilation, where it just is going to persist until it pans out. What is it? It the clown. And the worst things can happen if they persist, and then the regular occurrence will happen just once for the worst thing that could ever happen, just because it can persist.